Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org with a video tutorial for the new Boston. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the last and first parts of traversing in jQuery. Now obviously when we talk about traversing we talk about running over particular elements. However, this is part of a filter where we can select the first and last. Now much like we would do in, for example, selectors. Now I'm going to go ahead and create an unordered list with 4 names in, and we'll go ahead and see the options that we have and how useful this can be. So let's go ahead and create an unordered list, and inside we'll create 4 li elements. So li, li, and once more. And inside here let's go ahead and just put some values in. So Alex, Billy, Dale, and Ashley. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview this in our browser. You can see we've just got a basic unordered list, blah blah blah, nothing really special. Let's go ahead and give this an ID of names. Actually, we'll give it a class of names, more appropriate. So nothing's changed, we just now have a reference point for this unordered list, and it belongs to the class names. So inside of ext.js we have our document ready. Let me just go ahead and type this out again for those of you that don't quite understand. We're selecting our document, we're appending the ready event handler onto the end, and inside we're creating a function. So once our DOM has been loaded, and we can just go ahead and work. Now this isn't a requirement, but good practice to get into. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the selector, and then we're going to be taking a look at the actual function type call of it. So let's go ahead and select ul, or no, sorry, names. So names, and then li, and then first. Now this would allow us to sort of append on, let's say, first. So we are selecting the class names, which is here. Then we're selecting li and the first li. So we're using a colon and first to append on first. So let's refresh, and you can see that we've just popped first onto the start of there. Now we could go ahead and let's say we'll copy this, or we'll just retype it out. So again we're saying dot names li, but this time we're saying last, and we're going to append on. We're going to append on the same, pretty much the same thing, but just last. And when we refresh now, you can see that that's been added onto the last. Now we have an alternative way of doing this, and there are reasons for this, and we're going to be using the find feature or function as well as this first and last. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how we would do that as well. So let's just say, let's just go back to the start. We want to find out the first li inside of this unordered list. So let's go ahead and select first of all .names, which is our class. This time I'm going to use find, and we're going to be using that in conjunction with first and last, and we want to choose what we want to find, so li for example. Now what we can go ahead and do is say first, and now we can go ahead and append on some text. So we can go ahead and append first, and it's literally done the same job. Now one of the reasons I tend to do use this method is so I can actually use things like next as well. I mean, I know you can do this using normal selectors, but find is a useful thing to use and get into the habit of using. So you select the so the overall parent element, and then you go ahead and find the li and the first part of that, and then append on first. So we're doing the same thing. So let's just run over it again. I mean, by all means you can go over to the jQuery documentation, and it has some more information on find and first and last and things like that. But for now I'm going to go ahead and find the li last, and I'm going to append on the same thing as I did before, which is just last. And when we refresh, we have this. So what I can also do is, for example, I could go on and say, now I'm doing it sort of a long-winded way, but never mind. So I could say names dot find, and then I could say li, and then I could say dot first, but then dot next, and then dot append. So I can sort of use second, well, I'll just say after first, for example, or second. It could be second, makes sense. And when we refresh, we have this second here. So what I've done is I've combined find. I'm looking for the li first, so the first element I'm picking out, and then I'm going for the second element after the first element, which is the second element. So, you know, or the element after the first element, and that is second. So I'm sort of combining things like this to pick out different values. Now, there's a variety of reasons you might want to do this in jQuery, and that might be, for example, selecting either a predefined, or we might want to go ahead and add a class onto the first and the last element, or just onto the first element. For example, you might be menu building, and you might want the first element in a list to be bold, for example. So we'll go ahead and just do that now, just to demonstrate it. Let's just call this class here menu instead, and I'm going to call the I'm going to say the first element is I don't know, say user, and the first is going to be settings, and this one is going to be log out, and this one is going to be delete account. So we've essentially now just got an unordered list of menu items. I'm just going to go ahead and open up style.css, and inside here I'm going to style this UL. So I'm going to say .menu, and I'm going to say list style none, and this will just get rid of them bullet points. And I'm then going to go ahead and set the margin to 0, and that will get rid of the spacing there. And then I'm going to go ahead and set padding to 0 as well, and that will go ahead and get rid of that. So we've sort of got a UL of menu items. Now what we could go ahead and do is we could use nextAll, and this takes into account everything after the element that's been selected.